All right, so my name is Taylor Brandt. Like we noted, I'm a manager out of our technology risk department for RSM. A little background, I know we did AI for the different aspects of applications and coaching. From our lens, we're definitely client serving. So you think about how are our clients using AI, how are they using generative AI, what risk is it comparing to themselves, and how can we provide services as well. So we've heard a lot about generative AI. When you think about it, it's a competitive requirement, very unique nature. You have to adopt, you have to create your own policies. But in essence, it's a lot of you're creating power, right? You're creating your own generative illustrations and creating your own thing from scratch. So you think of all that power and all that data, comes a lot of responsibility. So as someone once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's amazing what you could do with even just a quick little photo for it. So again, when I created this, I was laughing. I was like, I wish my legs looked like that, but clearly I skipped AI did. I'll use this thing going forward. Yep. Okay. So for our agenda today, we're going to go over use cases. We're going to go over generative AI risk. What are deep fakes? Actually, I had to update my presentation for on Monday. There was an executive order by the president. So getting a little update there. And then what does the future hold for AI, and what do we have from a risk management kind of a governance framework? Okay. So what are some use cases? I know this is a lot coming out there, but you think about the opportunities are endless, right? For some of our clients, when you think of healthcare, they're using, there's currently one client that's trying to go public where they have a brainwave scan. So if someone has a seizure, the head wave will actually read what their pulse, what their scans are to understand what's going on internally for their seizure and how do I adapt to create what procedure I'm going to perform in that individual. So again, obviously you can't have conversations with that individual, but it's amazing to see how generative AI can try to predict or have models to see what is happening to that individual. Content and legal compliance. Everyone loves legal documents. If you get a 200-page document, it can actually read through and summarize that content and say, what are the key factors? What do I need to worry about in this MSA or anything from that content? A lot also use risk assessments and vendor management. If you want to bring on a new vendor, what are the risks associated with this vendor management process? You can create questionnaires, right? So the questionnaire, have your vendor fill it out, what is that risk profile? And then AI will actually spit it out and saying, here's our risk ranking, here's why we believe we should or should not do business with that. Also, who loves the chatbots? If you go on to, you call your application, you have an issue and you want to talk to a chatbot, you're going to get random questions, you never get anything done, you want to talk to the help desk immediately. So sometimes good, sometimes bad. Okay, so what are the risks? When you think about, we're empowering bad actors potentially, right? So we talked about more the coaching, which is great, right? We want to use apps to improve our own professional development. But when you think about, not everyone has a good intentions, right? So with how easy it is to get, we sometimes are making it accessible for bad actors. So exploiting individuals now have easier access to get to everything on what they might have bad intentions for. So you think about the concentration of power, again with that data, who are these companies that are using this data? What are they doing with that data? How are they getting all that? Obviously you hear about your Meta, your Facebook, your Google. They're using all that data to understand your algorithms. Like I believe we mentioned earlier, when we were saying no, or we want to skip this questionnaire, well, it's reading that to see what it wants to reply to you as well. So it's interacting with you in that POSSEC. Societal changes. So obviously we're going through election right now. When you think of there might be fake news, you might think of any political campaigns. It's so easy for someone to create a fake ad, whereas you as a recipient might think something that might actually happen when in reality it's just a fake photo being created. So as we think of what are deep fakes, we got a couple examples we'll share. So deepfakes. So here's one that actually went public a few months ago when there was going through the arrest. So again, this never happened, but this was circulating in the news. Again, people try to make funny images, but as you as a viewer, if you didn't not know better, you might think he's running from the police. You got to log into the news, see what's going on. But at the same time, someone just created this. A kid in his basement could have created it. Okay? Another example, so the Pope. So Balenciaga actually had a photo going public with their puffer coat. So if you're religious and you follow the Pope, you might say, well, I want that puffer jacket. It's creating fake sales. Again, obviously he's not walking around. As the ad said, he was dripped out in their latest puffer coat. I don't think he would be doing that. Okay? Or even this one I found interesting. So Pentagon bombing. This never happened, but there was a photo, and I believe it was June this year, earlier this year, where this got released, and actually news channels were sharing this content. So people were starting to believe that it actually occurred and was happening, that the stock market actually was taking a hit. So during that time, the stock market dropped about 3 to 5 points, and they estimated about $500 million because of that instance of just a photo being shared. Imagine if a newscast is showing a terrorism attack, everyone is showing concern, especially that magnitude. But again, fake photo. Okay? So with all these risks, with all these fake content being created, not everything is good. What are we trying to do as a legislation? President Biden actually released it on Monday. He wants to have some standards and policies and procedures going forward. Well, what do we follow with this new technology? So safety and security, they're trying to create standards saying, we want to learn with you, right? It's new to all of us. What testing are you performing? How do you rely on your data? And what can we learn from you? One aspect they learned right away is they're saying, let's do AI watermarking. So you might see some photos in the corner, it has the name of the app, right? But how easy is that for someone to crop out that watermark, right? We're right back to square one. Protecting consumers and their privacy, again, like we noted earlier, what are we doing with that data? If it's healthcare, well, can they breach that system? What's going on? Obviously, our personal identified information, we don't want making that being public. When you put that into ChatGPT or any of these generative contents, think about anyone can access it, right? It's going to continue to rebuild itself. So equity and civil rights, avoid AI algorithms and discriminations. I found it interesting when they were saying, show me a picture of a nurse. It would show a white young female. Or show me a teacher. It would show a young white woman. So you think about it, it has already this biasness and discrimination on what are these professions, when again, it's not like it has its own discriminations, but it's using other images to create its own content. They're trying to make sure when landlords or anyone is creating on how they want to use AI, how is it discriminating an individual when they're creating an application and we're saying, all right, our AI bot says you are not allowed to pursue because of a discrimination bias, okay? Also then we think about if this is taking away jobs, there's been the concern about the labor force. Well, what they're trying to say from their lens, it's actually creating new jobs too. So because this is very new, everyone's learning from it from the AI perspective, they want to learn with you, right? And they want to hire experts. They actually released that we have on our government website, new jobs, new created, come work with us, learn with us, and create those new policies and procedures. Okay. So why adopt governance? Again, when you think of everything going on, you really want to learn and take a step back. Well, how is it impacting us? Again, from our lens, we're client servicing, right? So you think about their framework. What do they have internally going on, their third-party systems, internal systems, external systems? How are they using that AI for what they're doing in their own content? And so from our lens, we would work with clients to understand what needs or risks they have, and everyone's framework is going to be different. But at the end of the day, you got to be potential and you got to be mindful of what risk you have and how do you mitigate those risks. Okay. So again, this one I know it shows through, but they're actually then, companies are creating frameworks and controls on AI already. So you think through, if you hear of the Enron cases or any of the big stock market crashes, you're thinking about there's controls and there's guidance there to understand what controls and how do you audit upon that AI in the future. So from this lens, again, right when we just had the order released on Monday, thinking through how do the clients need to be worrisome of these policies and the procedures, they created a control framework. So they have it split out into the 8 domains. Obviously, we don't got to go through the 8 domains, but you think through for your environment and your framework, what would you need to build on how you're using generative AI? Okay. I do want to point out, so we think through myself and also Manish Takar. He can't be here today with myself, but he's also based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He's been a very great speaker for these on creating these frameworks and building those controls for everyone going forward and thinking through if there's any challenges or how do you adopt it, what risk would you want to have within your own clients. At the end of the day, AI is going to happen. It's going to be here. We have it more. It's continued to grow. We are seeing those images. It's amazing what fake news you could see. From our lens, we want to bring it back to Spider-Man, right? When Peter Parker learned from Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. AI is continuing to grow. In our own future, we're going to have our power to create whatever we want, but it also comes with our own responsibility. What are we going to do with this power? As we continue to weave the web of the AI possibilities, we want to think through on our own. Are we using this for the greater good? Is it really content that we want out there? At the end of the day, we're just trying to be our own heroes of our own community and using the AI for the best purpose, just like our neighborhood friend, Spider-Man. Thank you.